After visiting the ancient city of Troy on the previous day, we head to the port city of Çanakkale, where we take the Çanakkale ferry across the Strait of Dardanelles. After crossing the Dardanelles, our tour bus takes us on about a 3-hour ride to Istanbul, formerly known as Constantinople. During the trip, our guide shares with us many things about the Turkish culture and language.
There are, of course, apart from the civil code and way of life, there are some other things that he changed. For instance, he has changed the alphabet. That is a huge change. That's a big revolution. Because although Turks, they have spoken their own language, which is Turkish language, and there's another common mistake. People think that Turks and Arabs, it's almost the same thing. The religion is the same. They are both Muslims, but Turks and Arabs, they are totally different ethnic groups. Arabs are from Arabian Peninsula, whereas we Turks, we originally came from Central Asia.
At first glance, Istanbul may look like any other major modern city. You will see some familiar names, many places to shop, and of course lots of traffic and many people. You'll also see many sites with fascinating historical value.
And Agatha Christie, in one of her novels that she wrote actually in Istanbul, Murder on the Orient Express, made this building really very popular among Europeans.
Our next stop was for lunch at the world-famous Pudding Shop restaurant. I must say that while in Turkey, we were always treated to very good food no matter where we went, and the Pudding Shop was no exception. After lunch, we visit Topkapi Palace, which was built in the 15th century.
You can see the monogram of the Ottoman Sultan who had this palace built. He is the one who captured the city for the Ottomans, Mehmet II. In that monogram, if you're not trained in Arabic, you can't read it, of course, but starting from the right bottom, we've got the name of the Sultan, and then the name of the father of the Sultan, and then a kind of epitaph for the Ottoman Sultan, which is forever victorious.
As you explore the palace, you will see beautiful architecture on the outside of the buildings, and beautiful design inside the buildings as well. There is also a large exhibit of treasure we were not allowed to film, which included a golden throne, 2 pure gold candlesticks weighing 105 pounds each, a golden cradle, and an 86-carat diamond that used to be on a ring of one of the sultans. On the east side of the palace, you can view the building Florence Nightingale worked in during the Crimean War, or just watch the ferries cross the Bosphorus Strait. Topkapi Palace also has some interesting church history.
For history of Christianity, this building is important because I'm sure we are all familiar with Nicene Creed. You know that it's called Nicene Creed. It's because that council was held in a town called Nicaea. Nicaea is only 2.5 hours ride from Istanbul to the east. So that council was held in Turkey. But Nicene Creed actually was not complete. Because when you say the real Nicene Creed from 325, what you say is you believe in God, well, Father and Son. In 381, they had another council in Constantinople, in a church which was built exactly over there, that got destroyed in an earthquake. So they had this one built, exactly in the same spot with the same name, Saint Irene. And here in this Council of Constantinople, they actually added one more thing to the Nicene Creed. I believe in Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
After leaving Topkapi Palace, our final stop of the day is the square where the spice market is located.
Welcome to the spice market. One of the things you can get from here is the dried fruits, like apricots and figs, especially filled in with different kinds of nuts. Like I was telling you, 70% of the world's hazelnut production is from Turkey. Pistachio is so good quality. Walnuts, almonds, so you'll see all that stuff.
Turkish, you have to use it more.
More.
If we get for gift for mother-in-law, you can get this cheaper and $64.
As you walk through the market, you can't help but notice the care and beauty with which each shop owner displays his wares. You may find it hard not to just stop and stare at the colorful arrangements. And of course, if you have a sweet tooth, you don't want to leave the market without some tasty Turkish candies, and especially the Turkish delight. The next morning we arrive early at the site, which contains some of the most amazing architecture you will ever see. These buildings are called Saint Sophia and the Blue Mosque.
The Ottoman Sultan, having this place built, he was so ambitious, so he wanted to have something extraordinary built, and location is not picked by chance. It's not a coincidence. He wanted to have it built right across from Saint Sophia. Saint Sophia then was the biggest temple of the city, and it was being used as a mosque then. And he wanted to surpass Saint Sophia to make his name immortal. Well, actually he did. The name of this area is Sultan Ahmet today. But when we go into Saint Sophia, you'll see that it's an unbelievable building. So that the architect said that we are going to surpass it, my Sultan, but we're going to surpass it in beauty, not in size. So that's just going to be up to you. I'll take you to both places so you'll decide which one is more beautiful. But keep in mind that the other building was built in 6th century, this one in 17th century. It is 1100 years older than this one. I'd say architecturally, this one is more beautiful. But the other one over there is something like the 8th wonder of the world because of its history.
After leaving the Blue Mosque, we literally walked across the street to view another architectural wonder called Saint Sophia, which means Holy Wisdom.
First thing, of course, about the dome. Now, we got this temple built 1,500 years ago, finished in less than 6 years' time. This scaffolding has been inside this building for approximately 17 years. So it seems like it takes much longer time to have something like this restored. But is it the first temple built here, this standing church? It's not. It's the third one. Unfortunately, nothing remains from the first one. Actually, it was not an extraordinary building. It was just a wooden basilica. But what made it so special is, right at the end of the street, we walked by, you remember the Four Seasons? So you saw the place of the palace of the Roman emperors. Those Roman emperors were the ones who persecuted Christians. This is just at the end of the street. I mean, it's just next door. This was built right after, the first church here, was built right after the time of Constantine the Great. You remember Constantine the Great, the one who stopped the persecutions of Christians? So that's why it has a symbolic meaning. One of the first churches ever built in a city like Constantinople, just next door from the palace of Roman rulers. But it burned down in a big fire, and they had the second one built in early 5th century. And it was opened in 415 during the reign of Roman Emperor Theodosius. And unfortunately, in 6th century, it got destroyed. Maybe I have to say fortunately, because we've got the 8th wonder of the world built, as it was destroyed.
After a restful night at the hotel, we head out to the heart of Istanbul to spend some time at the world-famous Grand Bazaar. There is no parking close to the bazaar, so our bus drops us off with about a 10-minute walk to gate number 1. The Grand Bazaar is a covered market with 60 streets, 5,000 shops, and close to 400,000 visitors daily. The origins of the Grand Bazaar date back to 1461 when construction was completed. Over the centuries, it has been expanded and restored due to damage caused by earthquakes. You need to remember which way you came, or you may get lost in the maze of side streets and shops. Inside the bazaar, you can find just about anything you can think of. Gold, silver, precious stones of all kinds, leather jackets, and designer handbags. You can also find many old antiques if you know where to look for them. Our guide took us to one shop where the owner had a very unique artistic talent.
You are in an historical stable right now, and you remember I told you about the dried leaves. Here is Nick. This is all his idea.
And this is our Father, Lord's Prayer in Aramaic.
As we leave the Grand Bazaar, we hear a reminder of what the dominant religion is here in Turkey. Back at the hotel, our guide Barchin and our driver bid us farewell.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your tour in Turkey, and we hope to see you back in Turkey.
Later that night, we walked the short distance from our hotel to Taksim Square. Once you get to the square, you will notice some familiar sights and lots of people. But you have never seen lots of people till you have seen this. That has to be the most crowded outdoor shopping ever, and this isn't even Black Friday. If you are a people watcher, you can get a whole day's worth of watching in about 5 minutes. It seemed as though all of Istanbul's 13 million people were walking up and down this street that night. And it is with this amazing spectacle of people that we end our Istanbul experience. Thank you so much for watching.